All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Urban Gardeners first day of spring live stream. I hope you're all having a wonderful spring so far. I guess it's just the first day, but so far there's people out there who's already been getting growing and getting their gardens all ready here so far. And I just wanted to kind of get out here and do a live stream to kind of get this season started with. So I hope you guys can join along with us here and ask some questions. If not, I hope you'll catch up with us when we do the replay. So um, let's see here. It's first day of spring and going on in the garden right now. I am basically getting some things geared up here to put out some videos. We're gonna get started. I've got some potato episode coming up here I'm working on right now, and a bunch of other really cool videos that'll be happening here real soon. Um, this is basically just kind of a restart in some sense for our season this year. As you've seen, if anybody's seen the video I just published recently about Carl, kind of explain a little bit of the reason why I haven't actually been publishing too many videos as I had planned to do throughout this last winter. So, you know, kind of had that happened. So took a little bit of time off and whatnot. So I've got a lot of things planned. I've got a lot of things going on, and I'm trying to shoot different videos. There's some things I've kind of missed out on so far, but catching up. We're going to get some videos out. We're going to start putting out a lot of really cool content, hopefully, coming up here real soon. Should have something coming out this next week. But if everybody really kind of likes this kind of live thing that we're doing here, maybe that's something that I'm thinking about possibly doing a little bit more of as we continue going on the season. Maybe we can get together, you know, on a regular basis and be able to have a little chat live here. As you can tell, it's kind of new to me. I'm not really familiar with doing it. I've done maybe one thing on Facebook Live, and then I did maybe a couple of things, one short thing, and then did a kind of a Q&A thing last year on Facebook. But it's a little different, you know, talking right to the camera instead of going out into the garden or in other places and filming and putting together a video and editing it out, you know. So I apologize if it's not all um, formal or whatever as far as the video is concerned. But if anybody's got any questions, I'd really like to answer anybody's questions though too. So I am keeping an eye on here on the chat. So if you can swing a question my way, or if not, if anybody who's watching right now can just go on there and tell me where you're watching from and who's out there right now. All right, so yeah, it is the first day of spring. So basically we got some really kind of cool plans coming up here for spring, which is basically what our second anniversary, working on our third season for the Urban Gardeners. So that's going to be really great. Um, I've got also a trip I'm going to be making here real soon. I want to be able to talk about. Going to go and meet some other cool YouTube gardeners and some really cool urban gardens too. I've got a couple of really cool things I'm lining up for that. It's going to be something really special. So that'll be something that everybody get a chance to look forward to as we get growing here too as well. All right. So, anybody out there? Let me know where you're watching from. Or if not, if you're watching on the replay, put the questions down in the comments or whatnot too, and I'll look out to answer some of those as well. All right. All right. So, well, as far as what we've been up to this last year, if you haven't actually checked out some of the things that we've done, I'd like to encourage some people to come and check out some of the episodes that we've put out so far in the last few months. Of course, all the way back to this last fall, we went to the National Heirloom Expo, something that we're going to make hopefully a nice regular thing that we get to do. It's a really fun celebration of growing food and gardening and all of that, and that's an event that I really enjoy. So um, gonna look forward to be able to do that again coming up this next fall. Um, let's see, we did an episode just recently that I put out with our friend Mark Boucher Colbert up in Portland, and we talked about some seeds and had a whole really cool discussion about seeds. It's a great episode to really get into some of the nuances of seeds and how they work and how you get them started and that sort of thing. And having that discussion with Mark was really great because he just brings such a great amount of knowledge to everything that everything he talks about, anything in the garden. He's just a really, really great gardener, and it's really fun to be able to get together and hang out with him and talk about those things. And so I encourage everybody to go and check that episode out as well too if you haven't already. It's just a really wonderful discussion on seeds. Let's see here. Hi Nancy. How you doing? Nancy from Independence, Missouri. So you getting started with your garden out there, Nancy? Growing some things in your new greenhouse? All right, it's good to see. Thanks for tuning in, Nancy. It's really great to have you along with us here on our live stream that we're doing here for the first day of spring. And basically, let me ask you real quick, what is one of the things that you're growing right now in your garden? Do you have anything growing on right now in your garden? If you have that, let me know there. I've got right now out in the garden, I've just harvested some leeks out of the garden, which are really good. And I'm cooking those up tonight. I've got a nice potato leek recipe that I'm gonna be trying out, and we're gonna cook up those leeks that I got to harvest yesterday. We've got a bunch of things like radishes, of course. I really love radishes, so we've got some of those growing. We've got several different types of greens. I've planted out peas along my back carport area there with the netting and whatnot, and they're really starting to get growing as the weather's starting to warm up a little bit there. So they've got a nice head start on everything. So we'll be harvesting up some peas coming up here pretty soon, and a lot of other things that we're just gearing up to planting. I think I planted out some carrots and some more greens. And we've had spinach that we're getting started out in one of the alleyway gardens. And of course, oh, yep, as Nancy says right there, garlic. Of course, we've got our garlic growing out there in the alleyway, and they're looking really nice too. So I'm really looking forward to the crop of garlic that we got this year. So they're busting out of the soil there along with some of our spring flowers. I got a bunch of different spring flowers, of course, are popping up everywhere. So start attracting those bees and get everything really moving along out there. So yeah, let's see. So yeah, we mentioned that it's the second anniversary basically. So we launched our channel, what, 2 years ago on the first day of spring. And so it's really kind of cool to be able to do this live stream here as kind of an anniversary as well as the first day of spring too. Kind of celebrate the fact that we've been growing on here for 2 years now, and it's been really fun. Besides all of the things that are going on with things in life and all of that, that's been kind of holding back some of the video making for this winter. It's really kind of great to have spring right there so we can just come alive and get back into it and everything, because I've been really enjoying making and doing the videos for this channel and getting the opportunity to do a lot of the different things that we do here on the Urban Gardener. This channel's been really fun for me. It's been something that I've really, really enjoyed doing. And you know, a way for me to connect with people and to kind of show people what I'm doing and what I've got going on in my gardens and all of that. Plus an opportunity, as you've seen with different videos, where I get to go and visit and meet up with people. It's just a really great opportunity to be able to do that for me as well. So, you know, it's just, this channel has just become more and more fun, you know, as I've been doing things, and each year thinking of new plans and all of that sort of stuff to be able to bring and make videos for, because that creative aspect of it too is something that's just really, really just enjoyable as well. Um, just planted peas. Yep. All right. Excellent. Peas are a great thing to get started right now. It's a, you know, in the cool end of the season right now. The peas really like that. Um, and it's a great time to get them planted out. As you see though in my videos, I showed this last fall that I had started my pea starts back then, because I let them kind of get a little bit of a head start, because I have kind of a milder winter. It's not as intense, and the plants just kind of go dormant just a little bit during the winter time, so that when spring warms up, they just get kicked in. They got a head start, and I should be picking peas off of my plants pretty soon, actually. So that's really something that we'll be looking forward to. Is that's a all right. So yeah, one of the things. To get back kind of what I was talking about with the channel and everything too um, is I want to kind of explain that story a little bit. Is just um, when I first intended doing this channel and putting this channel together, I didn't really see it kind of moving the way it was. I really kind of just intended on doing um, more of just videos on what I'm doing in my garden, and just kind of, you know, play around with that. And I didn't really kind of expect for things to move quite the way they did, but in a way that just really, I think, broadened the channel and made it something just a little bit more enjoyable for me too, even as well as for you, the audience, because, you know, getting a chance to get out and meet people and go and see and different garden projects and things that are out there is just a really wonderful thing for me, because I'm always trying to just explore and to learn more about what I'm doing in my gardens, and to be able to see what other people are doing in theirs too. And I'm also just a really, really big fan of gardening on YouTube as well. You know, there's a lot of channels and a lot of different people out there that I've followed for many years, that have kind of, you know, kind of inspired me to get started and do this channel and everything. So that becoming one of the things is I've got to visit places like the National Heirloom Expo, and getting to meet people like John Kohler and other people doing YouTube channels. Wendy Fan, another great person who we've got to have a conversation with on the channel here. Hopefully we'll get the opportunity to see her again real soon as well. But it's just something that's really fun, is to be able to connect with people and to connect with these other gardeners, and really see and enjoy what the whole gardening community is about, because that's one of the things I really, really enjoy, but wasn't necessarily expecting as I got started doing this channel. So I hope that everybody else has been enjoying that as well. So we do got some more meetups coming up. We're going to take another trip back down south towards LA. So we're gonna get into Southern California and go check out a couple of different garden projects that's going on down there that I find really fascinating. And I've been talking with some people, and hopefully get a chance to go meet up and see some of that. And then we'll go and get to meet up with a couple of other people who are on the gardening social media and YouTube and whatnot, and do some more videos with them. So it'll be great to have those sort of collaborations and be able to do that. So it makes for a really fun vacation for me to be able to go out and see some of the things I enjoy, plus be able to film it, meet people, and then bring it to you guys, the audience, and do that. So it's just something really fun, and I'm really looking forward to what we're going to be doing here this year. All right, let's see, what do we got? Roadside Dan, how you doing there? Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in, Dan. You're from Connecticut, all the way up in Connecticut there. All right. It's really great to have you along with us there. Let's see. What are my thoughts on companion plants? Um, well, there are plants that really kind of work together and work really well, based on what their root systems are doing or how they grow next to each other, that sort of thing. And there are some really great companion plants out there. My style of gardening, though, I don't really kind of adhere to a lot of that. I just and and have kind of found a couple of some of the rules with that just a little bit. When people really push the idea of companion planting a bit, um, specifically on certain things. One of them people talk about, I think, is a lot is cucumbers and tomatoes and whatnot. I've grown them right with each other, and I think the way you manage your garden, the way you manage the soil and feed things and do that sort of stuff, it really. Um, that's kind of really where everything works the best, no matter what you're planting with each other, that sort of thing. But there are certain things that will really work well together, and if you find those things and those, like for me, I really like growing. I like growing corn, and I really like squash, so I do a lot of like that kind of three sisters type of companion thing, because they all kind of do this little job that helps them out. The squash shading out the ground, the corn, growing up so that you can, grow your beans up the stalks and that sort of thing. I do that. I like that sort of growing and utilize that, because I found it really kind of works well if you get it done right too. Because if I think you look back in my first season when I did the three sisters thing, you have to time the plants out right a bit too. It's part of the management of the garden, that I'm talking about. And as long as you're doing that sort of stuff, you can really get some things growing really nice. So thanks for the question, Dan, anyways. All right. So let's see here. What else we got? Oh, of course, we've got our different peppers that we're going to be trying to grow out this year. We'll be growing them in a kind of a different location, because people really know from the first couple of years of my channel that I had a rooftop garden where I grew my peppers up on the rooftop. And this last year, basically, I'm a renter. I rent my home from an owner who basically didn't like the idea that I had the plants up there. So in the long run, I had to remove them and take them down. But we're not giving up on peppers. We're going to continue to grow peppers into this. I'll always grow peppers because I really like them. But I've got some cool different varieties that we'll grow this year, as well as some of the ones that we've always kind of grown in the garden. Let's see. Oh, Chris down in Mexico, one of my good friends down there. Nice to see you there tuning in with it. He's got the question, how tall should your corn stalks be before you plant out your beans? Now, I my problem when I first did that the first couple of seasons is I just went with the idea of let's just throw everything in the ground together. Plant your corn, plant your beans, plant your squash, let it grow. And that was kind of the wrong thing to do in that aspect. What should have been done is I probably should have waited until the corn got, you know, a couple of feet, maybe a foot and a half, a couple of feet tall is what I think I did last year, and it seemed to work out pretty good, because then you're putting your bean seed into the ground. It's going to have the time to grow and get itself to a size before it really starts to blow up. Bean plants, they just kind of seem small at first, and then next thing you know, you turn around and it's gone everywhere. And another thing too is not to grow as many as I tried growing the first time as well too. So I pay basically, if I'm putting in maybe a grouping of about 4 or 5 corn stalks that I'm going to grow in one grouping, and I grow each grouping right next to each other so they're all in a row. I'm going to put maybe one bean plant, I think every other now, because they'll spread out and they'll grow up. So but giving those corn stalks a head start, they'll grow, they'll start to rapidly grow, they'll start to get climbing up there as those beans start to move up and everything. And at that time, those corn stalks will have the strength to be able to hold it up. When I first did that and just planted them together, the beans take over everything, and basically just kind of just take the whole stalks and everything down. It didn't really do too well. I did get a couple of small little ears off of some of the corn stalks and stuff, but they were just, it didn't work out when it came to doing that. So giving them a really good head start is a good thing to do. Ah, Tori Williams. All right, nice. Nice to see you here joining with me here on this live stream here for the Urban Gardener. Um, if you got any more questions or anything like that, feel free to ask me there. Any questions about anything that going on with me or anything like that with the channel or anything like that, because those are sort of some of the things I think is kind of a cool thing about doing some of the live stream, is to be able to kind of answer and talk about some of those sort of things as well as things that wouldn't necessarily find in one of our Urban Gardener episodes and everything. So it kind of give me a opportunity to just be a little more one-on-one and personal with those of you who are out there who are watching and viewing what we're doing. So feel free to ask whatever type of question you really want to, you know, keep it clean, keep it all right, so let's see here. We were talking, oh, I was explaining about the peppers. Yes, so we won't be able to grow the peppers up on the rooftop, but I've got a few other places around the alleyway and in the back area and whatnot. So we're gonna grow a bunch of different varieties of some really good peppers and everything, because it's one of those plants that I really enjoy growing. And of course, we also have our row of tomatoes that I do, and we'll try some different varieties. We're gonna try a couple of different things out when it comes to some really cool new tomatoes that will be getting started up here real soon. Yeah, and the community garden, I'm hopefully going to be able to get out here this next week and spend some time out there and really kind of see where we stand with that and how it's going, and hopefully be able to make some videos about that, because it's something I've been kind of really wanting to do, is get back out there and grow some food out there at the community garden. I'm not sure exactly what's going on there with the space there, or if people have been maintaining it or taking care of it in a way. So that's some of the things that I'm gonna kind of, you know, maybe still somewhat up in the air, but I really, really want to get doing that and working towards that and making that be something that we'll be able to feature throughout this season if things are all right down there and we can grow again this year. So I really want to get down to the community garden. Community gardens are great. If you got a community garden, or you live in kind of a space where you don't have the type of space, a community garden is a great place to be able to get out and grow some food. So and even if you do have space or anything like that, some community gardens can just use people out there to participate in the gardening experience for a bunch of people that are out there. I find that there are a lot of people who just, you know, even if I wasn't gardening, I just, you know, like to go down and visit and hang out with people a little bit and talk about gardening and help them along with some things and kind of show them some things that they might have questions about and that sort of thing, because of, you know, they're usually a lot of new people who are gardening that I find that I end up gardening with down at the community garden too. So it's a good thing to do that. Let's see here, Chris, I'm up to 70, 80 chickens now, and my Sugar Rush Peach is still giving me fruit like for 8 months, non-stop peppers. Got those seeds from you. Yes, excellent. Yes, those were the Sugar Rush Peach that I shared with you when we got to visit here in Oregon a season back or so. But 70 or 80 chickens, wow, you've got it. That project's really growing up on you there. That's great. And it's growing for like 8 months. So yeah, you're down in Mexico there, and Chris has got a climate. You can grow some peppers pretty much all year round. And yeah, the Sugar Rush Peach seeds that I think I gave you a pod and you saved the seeds, but that pepper I was talking about with one of the guys that I got the pepper seed from, and he's from Norway. So I just earlier today was filming an interview that I did with him. So that's going to be something that everybody can look forward to too, is I've got a interview that we did with my friend Christopher Bransdahl, and he gardens up in the mountains of Norway, and he's the one who sent me the seeds for that Sugar Rush Peach. So we were kind of talking about how it's interesting how he had gotten the seeds from a person here Dave Schramm here in the United States in West Virginia that he got the seed from, and then it went to Norway, and then he sent me the seed here to Southern Oregon, and now uh, we got Chris growing it down in Mexico. You know, how great is that? And the Sugar Rush peach seed originated in England. So it's got a nice long story about it. You know, that's the kind of some of the great things about growing some of these varieties that are out there. Is you got some really cool plants out there, some really cool, you know, whether tomatoes or anything, you know, they're just all these really great heirlooms and whatnot that have these cool stories behind them. And some of them we're creating ourselves, you know. The legacy of the Sugar Rush peach continues. Let's see here. Should I resoil my house plants after a year in the same soil? Um, well, you know, I only really do that when I transplant every couple of years, depending on where I'm seeing how the roots are developing in the plants. Some so I don't like change out soil or do much of anything like that unless like I had a problem with fungus gnats really bad. I've got a little bit of them right now. If anybody might see any flying by or whatnot, but sometimes if you know I'm having a real problem, I might switch out soil or do something like that for the plants. But other than that, I'm just basically go with what I have, and then I give some new soil and kind of re-soil it up as I put plants into new pots and all of that as they pot up. And some of them I don't pot up, you know, for quite a while too, you know. I got this one recently here, and it's recommended that you don't transplant it very often. It doesn't do too well after it's a transplant, so it's comfortable being more root bound or whatnot. So, you know, I'm going to be leaving that one in there, you know, maybe a little bit longer than I would some of the other plants that are really developing and growing bigger that are going to need that more of a space in the pot. Nancy asks, is that neighbor's tree that was leaning towards your home still there? Yeah, I yes, it's still there. In fact, it's the thing that really bothers me sometimes. I've got to get this taken care of. I've got to get somebody to take care of it. The homeowner, my owner that owns the home here, the city I talked to recently because I had and pushed the city to come into the alleyway and gravel it out and re-level it out because it was getting really bad. So when they were out, I had them looking at the tree to, you know, to be like, hey, you know, is there anything you guys can do? Because it's basically leaning over, completely over into the alleyway. And they just cut like a couple of branches that were in their way, and that was about it that I've seen so far. So I haven't heard anything back from the city about whether they're gonna do anything. And so it's all about just kind of pushing the homeowner to take care of it. But yeah, the longer it's there, the more uncomfortable I am about that tree because I think right where I'm sitting right now, if a nice wind gust wanted to take that tree through, it'll probably come right through here. Yikes. So yeah, I'm really pushing and pushing the homeowner to get a hold of a tree service, and it's at the point where I might even help him pay for it. I don't even know. It's just I just want to stop worrying about that tree. All right. Did you ever get set up with an indoor growing with those tents, lights, etc. I hooked you up with? Or did Sandy G take them for her plants? No, actually, if you see right here, you can see there's one of the tents right there. Chris, before he moved off to Mexico, gave me a couple of indoor growing tents. And yes, I've been using them. In fact, I've got some pepper plants that are growing inside there right now. I just haven't, you know, put any ideas towards something that I want to make a video or do something in that sense. So I'm working on that. I think that's something that I really want to do because, you know, I have been using it. There are, you know, some good plants in there growing at the moment. So yeah, I'll have to, maybe in a time set it up and give everybody a look inside there and see what we got going on. Be trying and putting some other different types of plants in there that I've got coming that I'm gonna try to grow in there. One of the plants I really want to grow because I see other people grow, and I'm like the my friend Chris I talked to earlier today up in Norway grows banana plants up there in his indoor garden, and so that's one of the things I've been wanting to grow myself is a nice big banana plant. I think that would be kind of fun and whatnot. Well, it's definitely not going to fit inside the grow tent, but you know, good place to kind of get it set up and get it started, I guess. But yeah, let's see here. Chris says awesome. Yep. Yeah. So I thank you so much, actually, Chris, for that. I really do appreciate it. It has added to some of the fun that I get to do here and during the winter time in the garden when there isn't much going on outside because it's freezing cold. It's kind of cool to be on indoors and working on pepper plants and all of that sort of thing. So that's really cool. And like I said, it's just one of those winters where I wasn't really thinking about or working on filming anything because of things that had happened and whatnot. So otherwise I was kind of planning on getting in there and doing that and showing that. So maybe I'll just kind of throw some sort of thing in soon and just kind of have a little clip in an upcoming episode and kind of show people what's going on in there. Maybe when I do the peppers and when I talk about the peppers that we're going to be growing here coming up soon, because I'll be putting an episode about those out here coming up as we get talking about all the different things that we're going to be growing this year and what we're going to be doing with the garden. I've got some different things going on. I mentioned one of the episodes we'll have getting started up here real soon will be about the potatoes in the containers. So if people have been watching my channel for the last couple of years, I've been trying to grow potatoes in containers. Basically just storage containers, general storage containers, plastic ones that you can get at any of your box stores and whatnot. And you know, I did grow those a few seasons ago before I even started the channel, and I had a really good success with a couple of different varieties of potatoes that I grew. So that was really kind of encouraging why I wanted to show it on the channel. But what we ended up with over the last couple of seasons wasn't quite what I was hoping for. And it's really one of those things about potatoes though too, is that you have to grow these plants throughout the whole season. You wait for them to die off, before you go digging in there and finding out what you got, and what you're gonna get out of them, So you could have these big, monstrous, beautiful plants growing and have absolutely nothing developing underneath in the soil. And there's some things I've got some ideas about that, so we're going to kind of go over those a little bit, some of the changes and some of the things that we're going to try in order to hopefully be more successful with growing potatoes in containers, because it's fun. It's more of one of those things, as I'll explain too, is that it's just generally about fun, and doing that sort of thing and experimenting with the things that you can do in the garden, in small spaces and in urban environments and all of that sort of thing. I'm certainly in those containers, even if they did grow pretty well and got some really good sized potatoes, I'm really not going to be getting the volume of potatoes I would be needing for food throughout the year. So it's one of those things that you just kind of have fun with and enjoy in the urban garden here. Let's see here. Anything yet? So yeah, I'm not even sure how long we've been going here. What does it say? We're at almost 34 minutes. Having fun hanging out here on the first day of spring. It's the first day of spring. Does everybody have some plans for their gardens this year? If you do, hit me up in the comment section down below if you're watching the replay of this video, and tell me about what sort of things you got going on in your spring garden. And if you're here right now, let me know in the chat there and see what you got going in your garden. Yeah, it's a little different doing live streaming versus making videos and all of that. So I hope everything's going all right. Hope everybody's enjoying everything so far. It's just kind of different sitting and talking to a camera versus filming a video and being able to edit it and whatnot and put together um, the videos, as everybody knows who watch the videos. And if you watch to the very end, I always kind of try to include some of the bloopers and some of the uh, things going on while I'm talking and mumbling and not getting the words out quite the way I want them to. As you can see several times here so far, it happens sometimes kind of frequently when I'm talking and rambling on, but kind of have fun with it and enjoy it and everything. Um, I was talking with my friend earlier about was just kind of jumping in and getting and doing that kind of just having a discussion with everybody and having everybody have an opportunity to be able to have a little kind of one-on-one with me here on the Urban Gardener. Let's see here. Hey, did you ever name your roll around thingy? Yeah, over the last couple of seasons, I've been showing part of the indoor pepper growing that I do, which is developing right now. We're in the middle process of that, and as we'll see in the videos coming up and everything. But I transplant my peppers over into the red solo cups, and which you can see one right up here. Transfer them over into the red solo cups, and then I have this wooden roll around thingy that I have that's got the holes put in it so that I can kind of pick up and carry a grouping of the peppers and or move them around as I need to, like get around in the space that they're at while they're growing. Basically right here in the living room, they'll be right along this area right here coming up real shortly, as you'll be seeing in videos as we get going here in the next month or so. We'll be talking about that process. I haven't named it. I did ask, I think, in the video to see if anybody had any ideas of what we could call it. Maybe I'll ask again if in this next video as you get to see. I did make one change with it. It's the same thing basically, but I redid it and put in less holes. I had too many holes in the ones before. I think the plants were just a little too crowded, so I've cut it down and to less plants on the roll around thingy this year. So I'll kind of go over that and talk about that when we get into that episode. But yeah, don't know what to call it. All right. Let's see here. What do we pretty much talked about a lot of things here. Things coming up. We talked about things coming up. I've got, some really good plans, a lot of things. One of the things I'm kind of trying to get together a lot of different stuff and play catch up. So hopefully in some sense, one of the things that we'll be able to see over the next coming weeks is just more videos, maybe a little more frequently. But that's kind of one of the things I kind of wanted to touch on while I was here talking with you live about too, is that kind of thing. I want to kind of, just kind of be just a little bit more consistent, do things just a little bit more regularly so that people have something to look forward to when it comes to the videos. They've been really intermittent over this last year, more so than I think when I first started going the first year. I started off on a roll and was really kind of doing what I was looking to do, but over this last season, it just kind of got really a little bit more intermittent than what I'm really comfortable with when it comes to developing this channel and being able to bring this different garden content and these garden adventures that I'm on and all of that to you guys. So I'm going to try to really work hard on making that a lot more consistent and bringing you a lot more video content. So even if I'm not necessarily able to put together one of my regular Urban Gardener videos, maybe I'll just jump on and do some more kind of live talks and live chats. And maybe even, like I said earlier too, if you guys are really interested in whatnot, you can let me know in the comments and everything about that. But if you're interested in this type of live thing and being able to get together and hang out at a certain time or something like that, maybe we can make this maybe a little more regular as well. I just got to get a little more better and a little more comfortable dealing with the format and whatnot. But um, I think it would kind of be really kind of fun for people to be able to get a chance to ask questions, especially some things about some of the videos that we've done and that you've seen. Maybe there's things that you saw in the video and you didn't quite get to a question or something answered. Maybe you can get on this sort of format and I can answer it for you live right here. So that sounds like something fun we can do more on a more regular and consistent basis as we move forward here, because I really enjoy, as I was talking about before, really enjoy putting this channel together and being able to share the different gardening things that I've got going on, my home gardens, my, hopefully here, like I said, the community gardens, and, a bunch of other gardens out there with people I'm getting to meet while I'm getting to go out and do some of the things that have been um, really, really fun. We got to go and talk this last time when we went down to LA. We got to go and hang out with Nick Federoff, and we got to go on his radio show. That was a really, really fun experience. I'd never been on a radio program before, and Nick was a really fun host, and really had a great time with him. I invited along with me Kay Cottrell from Late Bloomer on YouTube. She came along on that radio show, and we had a really fun discussion about a bunch of different things in gardening. You guys can check the videos for that episode there. We It's a long edited the commercials out of the radio program and put that out because he did have a video feed of the actual radio program while we were talking on it live. So I put that up as an episode. So it's the long one. And then there's another episode that I did with just an interview with Nick Federoff. And we got to talk about how he got into gardening on the radio and doing what he was doing there. So that was really fun. So I encourage you all to go out and check those different videos that we already have out if you haven't already, because there's been some really fun things that we've gotten to do already. Just after that meetup with Nick Federoff and being on the radio with him and Kay Cottrell, I went to Kay Cottrell's actual home urban garden she's got. She's got a really amazing front yard urban garden growing in Los Angeles, and she invited us out to come out and do one of her Thursday workday videos that she does, and it was just a really, really great experience to be able to do that and meet up with her and be able to sit down and have an interview and talk with her about her gardening on YouTube and all of that, which is really fun to be able to get out and do those sort of things. And I get to meet some really cool people who I've been watching on YouTube for several years and have encouraged me to get out and do gardening and all of that. So for me to get out and to meet them and then to also be able to bring you all that content as well is something that's really fun. So I'm really looking forward to be able to have some more really cool meetups. We Last spring, we got to meet up with John Kohler in his front yard garden in California. Now that was really fun. I was invited over to do some things over at his place from a friend of his, and we got to meet up. Well, we met up at the Heirloom Expo prior, in kind of me getting to meet him at one of his talks and that sort of thing like that. But I got to meet him more personally in the at his front yard garden, and he was really kind and invited me to make a video with him that day, which I wasn't expecting. It was really kind of an impromptu thing. I was just really hoping to be able to get to have a conversation with him and talk with him about how he was growing on YouTube and doing that sort of things, and what it was like for him to develop his channel when he was first getting started and all that. I had all these sort of really cool questions, but what we ended up doing was sitting down and talking for a short period of time about peppers, because it was something that both of us really enjoyed, and we just had a nice conversation about the different varieties and things that, his planting methods and different things like that. That was just a really fun meetup with him. So if you're looking to check out some little things about peppers and how John Kohler views and does gardening with peppers, check out that episode that we did there. That was really, was a really great opportunity, and hopefully real soon here we'll get another opportunity to meet up with him again. You know, hopefully in Las Vegas. That'll be really fun. I want to be able to get an opportunity to check out his backyard garden and some of the desert gardening that he does in Las Vegas, because that'd be a really interesting aspect of gardening in that sort of climate. So I'm really interested in seeing how that goes. So hopefully that'll be something we can look forward to doing here real soon. As I mentioned too, I will be making a trip down south in that direction towards Southern California again, and hopefully be able to get to do a couple of different things that I wanted to do the first time around that didn't quite work out, and get to visit with a couple of really cool urban gardens that I think everybody will really enjoy as much as I do, with the opportunity of getting to go check it out. So that'll be something really fun to look forward to here coming up, as well as all of the things that we got growing here at our home gardens. Um, we're just getting a lot of different things going. I got a couple of ideas of some things that we're putting together, some projects and things that I hope everybody will really enjoy. Um, some things I've been wanting to do over the last couple of seasons and make some videos about. So we'll get to see how those things kind of work out for us. So, you know, that's kind of the fun of doing a lot of this sort of video stuff, is just, you know, I call it my garden adventure. You know, this is really just an adventure for me. You know, as I was explaining to someone earlier, um, you know, I don't want to promote myself as, say, a garden teacher per se. There's some things that I know and I've learned and I can pass on and whatnot, but I really see this as a garden adventure. I'm learning, I'm exploring, doing different things with the, you know, the small space environments that I've got to work with, and I've got several different types of them, which is a great thing to, and a great opportunity to be able to share with other people those different types of things, which I'm kind of lucky about having. So I really want to be able to work on those and be able to bring some really good content when it comes to some of the things that we got growing there. Um, all right, let's see here. Using your tip, I've started my broccoli, transplanted a few into smaller containers. We'll transplant them in 5-gallon containers when they get bigger. Yes, definitely. Yeah, broccoli, that's one of the ones that I really, really want to succeed at just a little bit better this year too. So but with some of the delays and some of the things going, I don't think my starts are quite where I want them to be. So I'll probably go and purchase some broccoli starts for this year. But um, it's one of those things that you got to deal with, is those pests. And, you know, I want to do a video talking about that a little bit too, more this year, because some of the things I was growing last year, I had a real like aphid problems that just really ate up my plants really bad. So I've got a couple of things I'm going to try. I'm going to work on with some netting and some things like that. So hopefully we'll be able to keep some of the cabbage worms off of things as well. You know, those pesky little white butterflies that, you know, a lot of people, you know, think are just these little butterflies. The kids think they're really neat and all of that, but, you know, you ever see those in your garden, shoo them away as far as you can, get them away, because they leave those eggs on your plants and they grow into the nice cabbage worms that eat up almost everything and just really put your plants back a lot. So, you know, that's one of the things to say. Just make sure you get some good protection. I'm not sure how that sort of pressure is for you down in Mexico there when you're growing your broccoli down there, but yeah, maybe some good netting or something like that, help kind of deal with that, because that's one of my big issues this year. So hopefully we'll have some really good broccoli plants this year. That's what I'm really looking forward to. And my continuing battle with Brussels sprouts as well. I am going to grow these plants. I find it to be one of the most, you know, and I enjoy Brussels sprouts more as I've gotten to try them over the last couple of years, because it's one of the things I mentioned in one of my first episodes, is that I wanted to challenge myself by growing that plant, because I thought it was really neat and it's something that I hadn't tried before. Because, but I have, and I've had a couple of people make some different types of Brussels sprouts I got to try that were really delicious. So hopefully as I grow some for myself, I'll be able to kind of repeat some of those recipes for myself and enjoy them again. But the plants, I mean, I got a few decent ones off of one of my plants this last year. but that was about it. Just a lot of other pressure, like I was saying, with the bugs and all that stuff, just kind of really hold them back. And maybe my timing was off a little bit in putting the plants out. So, I've got some seedlings started. Hopefully, we'll have some really good plants this year, and I'll be able to finally really do something good with some of my own Brussels sprouts growing out of the garden. That would be really fun. Let's see here. I really wanted to grow a lot more, but my chickens eat everything. Well, yeah, that's right. So with a bunch of chickens like that, a nice horde of 70 to 80 chickens, that's amazing. You got to really watch out with them because they like your greens just as much as you do. That's for sure. They'll eat up everything. But it's really great to have those chickens to be able to give yourself a really good source of fertilizer for your garden as well. You can keep them off the garden. You got a great fertilizer for them. So that and lots of eggs and whatnot too. I really wish I could have chickens. That's one of the things I've really, really wanted, and I haven't. I pushed the whole thing with growing peppers up on the roof because, like I said, I'm a renter. I rent my place. So, and I kind of push the boundaries a little bit with some of the things I do around here. Taking space and growing things and all of that. But for the most part, they've all been pretty accepting and pretty receptive of what I've been doing around here, and not giving me too much of a hard time other than growing the peppers on the rooftop. But I've really I've been really wanting to push growing or getting a couple of chickens back there, and just to have them. I would just really like to have some chickens run around back in the back alleyway there. I've got a perfect little area if I had a nice chicken run, and then could set them up and move them around to let them nibble into certain areas and stuff. Take care of some of that slug pressure and some of these other things that I've got going. Be nice to have some chickens to run around and take care of some of those things. That would be really good. But I don't know if I'll get to push that too much. Here in our area of town, I think they just upped the amount of chickens that you're allowed to have, but you still can't have like roosters and whatnot. But you are able to have chickens, backyard chickens here in the city here. So if I could get away with it, I probably would, but I don't know. Well, there's something I was just talking about there. My friend Chris down in Mexico there says get a passport and come down for a week. Yeah, that would be really awesome. I would love to do that. That would be something that would be really spectacular. Something I'll have to definitely work on because I was just uh, talking with someone else as well about one of the things I wanted to do is I want to get myself a passport so that I can kind of get out and maybe even check out some other things coming up in these next couple of seasons and do some things and stuff. So uh, the definitely been talking about getting that set up. So hopefully real soon here, and I'll definitely hit you up for sure about making a trip down there because that sounds like so much fun. Checking out what you got going down there. All right. Well, looks like what are we hitting? We're getting close to about an hour here, which was what I was aiming for. Do a nice little hour live feed with everybody. Have a chance and opportunity to answer some questions for you, and basically, just get a chance to kind of hang out a little bit. It's kind of a fun little thing there. We got a few people here with us and talking and asking some questions and whatnot. That's really fun. And like I said, if you really like this sort of thing and want to see me do more live episodes, on replay even, put in the comment section and let me know about that because if that's something you're interested in. We can hopefully set something up and that way something people can look forward to and we can get some people in here and really have some good conversations about gardening and some of the things that everybody's got growing on out there. It's really great. It's the first day of spring. It's just really awesome to be able to get started with this year, to get moving on and growing on. We're got a lot of fun things that like I've been talking about that I've got planned and want to get doing and showing for all of you guys. And just really glad to have you along with me and helping me do this channel and grow this channel into the fun experience that it's been. It's just been really, really a blessing to have all of you with me on this garden adventure, and to be able to share all these sort of things with you guys. It's just really, really great. And I just, I'm really pumped about this year. Really, really excited about getting some things going and doing, and just kind of getting the gloom of winter over, and get a restart to what we're doing, and be able to just kind of show some really fun garden adventures. Let's see. Thanks, Enid. Great to see you again. Love the channel. As you say, let's get growing. Absolutely. Let's get growing this year. Let's all have a really great season coming up. It's just, I have a really, really good high hopes about this year, man. I'm excited about everything. I'm really excited to, like I said, just share this experience with everybody. And like I said, let's do this again. Let's get together again real soon. And, uh, well, I think this would probably be a good time to call it. And you all have a wonderful, wonderful next week coming up here. And I should be having an episode out for everybody real soon. And I'll see you then.